Welcome back to Planting Life Matters. Time to pick up just a little dirt. I've never done this with my truck before. So I'm getting 1 yard. I have a 5-foot bed. The technique is really interesting. Just hold the board on a person's head and dump the dirt. Man, I hope they're paying him well. Okay. I think my bed holds only 1 yard. I thought I would share with you what's happening in the middle of July. Hot, hot, hot Texas. All right, so I'm in the front. I'm typically showing you guys the back, but I thought let me switch to the front and show you what's happening. I do have a lot of changes on the way. And this is my oops bed. What do I mean by oops bed? Well, I had 2 yards of compost and also I think at the time some decomposed granite that was dumped into my driveway for when I was building some of the things in the backyard a few years ago. And I left it sitting there way too long. HOA got on me. I was tired. And so I ended up scooting it out of the driveway over to the side, and this is what happened. I had some bricks that were left over from where I lined my pathway in the back, and so I just lined this up because it's on a bit of a slope, and I ended up just dropping different plants in here, nothing really planned. So it's my oops bed. I have some lantana there that has been acting as a perennial here in zone 8A. It's listed as an annual, I think, when I planted it, but I knew that lantana is really great about coming back. I have some inferno coleus. Thank God they're inferno because it is the dead of the sun right now. The color has changed on them a few times because of that heat and sun. And I have some pots that are planted in the ground just so I can make sure the irrigation gets them really well. That one's not looking too hot, but let me come on this side. And it's the same plant in both, so I can tell that I'm getting better water here. Those are mums. I love that color. And as you can see, I started trying to stay in that fall color, so that way in the fall I don't have to do too much, but that should bounce back as soon as it cools off some. I remember sprinkling a few zinnia seeds in here, just testing them out. Finally they came up. There's a volunteer tree. I need to pull that out. I have some Japanese boxwoods in here that need a good trimming. And I also have Nandina. These are dwarf Nandina. I will have to put the name, the variety on the screen for you guys. And what I started doing, and I got an airplane going overhead. Sorry about the noise. But because at one point it was really hard to get water on this side of the bed, I've adjusted that since then. Everything I put over here was dying. So I went with putting in a Munstead red stone crop. And it seems to be pretty happy here. It's such a beautiful bloom that it puts off late summer. And actually it will turn even more beautiful bronzy colors as we get to the fall. So I'm still playing around with this bed, but it's just one of those oops beds. And right now, as you can see, my mailbox bed is full of zinnias. I had some Mystic Spires blue salvia in there. And this sweet potato vine, that's from one little pint size. I don't even know if it was a pint, the smallest one you can get. And it's taken off like that. And then there is a sun coleus in there as well. But the blooms on the zinnias are really, really pretty. This was a zinnia mix bag that I bought for like 14 bucks at Home Depot with different sizes and different types and varieties, and just tossed it in there. I didn't dig up anything. I literally just threw it on top of the soil and wet it and go. And it took a little while, but that's what we have. It's struggling because of the heat right now. But hey, I'm happy to have anything. This bed over here, I think I have a before shot I'll try to insert, but it was a bad sprinkler head here, and the grass, the St. Augustine, was not happy. And so I ended up digging that out so I could make sure that I had something on each side of my driveway. And at first when I did it, it was a little narrow bed to stop right here. A couple of days ago, I extended it out more. The plants that I'm using are all transfer plants, and that's why they look really sick and tired right now. So I was trying to do this without spending any money. Zinnias do not like to be transferred. And once they're in bloom and they're growing, to dig them out of the ground, and obviously transferring in the dead of July is not the best time either, but they were gonna die where they were. So I thought, okay, well, let's just see what happens. There's a Mystic Spires Blue that I transferred. Those should be okay. It's 2 of them in there, along with some purple fountain grass, and that's a sun coleus. So I think it'll bounce back. If I can just keep it hydrated, it'll be okay. But I'll continue to add some things to this bed till I get it where I want it. My St. Aug, ooh, is looking amazing. It's my favorite grass. It is beautiful right now. It looks really good. Very healthy, very happy with it. It struggled in the beginning of the season with a lot of thatch, but I went through and used a dethatcher and really just raked very well to get some of the old dead grass out and cleaned it up. And the new grass starts to breathe a lot better. And so I have some vinca in here. Check this out. This is amazing. That is poison oak. That little vine that's coming up there. This is the 3rd one. I just pulled one from around the tree today, and I had one in the back. I've never had poison oak or poison ivy in my garden, and not sure why it's popping up, but I gotta pull that. I just spotted that for the first time. Creeping Jenny, and that's the creeping Jenny there, and also a foxtail fern, one of my favorite things. I hope it grows really huge. I have a little spiller pot here that has a coleus and some vinca in there, along with the Dusty Miller. And this Dusty Miller is several years old. I just let it do its thing. It's good fillers. And my purple vinca seem to be doing pretty good. This is an extremely difficult bed to grow in because it's so narrow. It's just not enough room. It wasn't planned this way. I left home and left the contractor on his own. He didn't follow the instruction, and that's what we get. So the pots are looking pretty good right now with the purple as well as the lime green sweet potato vines and coleus, my big leaf begonias. I have to keep those out of the sun right now because they are struggling. This one is normally not sitting here, but it was getting way too much sun, so I had to move it, but it's looking pretty happy. I forgot I put an elephant ear bulb behind a shrub. I don't know, you know what it was? I probably had one left over and I was tired, just threw it somewhere, and that's what you get. Okay, so my peach color daylilies, I just cut back yesterday, and you can see there how wide that is. I need to split them. I've been saying this for 2 seasons now. They're just way too large, and they're starting to flop over now because they are so big. And so I cut every one of them back just yesterday, and I added in some sun coleus, and I think this is the blaze coleus variety, and just to kind of add some color here since the daylilies are done. So that's the blaze, and hopefully that will thicken up. And then I added just a little bit of white vinca in different areas. I find myself now starting to have these hodgepodge flower beds where I just toss some things in and see what happens. It's not necessarily always planned. This bed over here is probably the most structured that I actually do give more thought to. And this year I went a little crazy with Mystic Spires Blue. I am very happy. It's starting to bloom out again, and there's a pollinator there now. I did not deadhead them. They're starting to really come through again. And so in previous videos, if you've been following me, thank you guys for returning. If you're new to my channel, I had talked previously about the big leaf begonia being my favorite annual of the year. Oh, that is gorgeous. It's just so pretty. And I have some sun patience back there in the back. They're in pots. those weren't originally planned to be there, but they were struggling so hard. Sun patients are extremely thirsty. I have to stay on top of those or they will wither up so quickly, but they bounce right back as soon as they get a drink. But they are the thirstiest plant that I have in the garden. And so you'll see just different hostas in there. There's a Dear Dolores hydrangea, and it sits right in front of my sister's window. Her name is Dolores. Shout out to one of the viewers named Dolores as well. And so I got some elephant ears that are popping up in different places because I had a bunch of bulbs, and I just kind of popped them in some different new locations. My carex grass, by the way, is looking pretty decent. It came back after that hard freeze. My abelia in pots, I planted that last fall. I love it up against that darker purple. It's really pretty, and it's starting to flower now, I noticed. That's a really pretty flower. I actually forgot the abelia flowers. So that's a really nice thing to see. I may transplant them to the ground later this fall. The zinnias here, I don't remember what color they are. I don't know if they came from that bag I had or not, but I also had some that were all red, and I'm hoping these are the ones that are all red. That was kind of my plan, to have red and blues and greens in this bed only. So this is looking pretty happy with the creeping Jenny that's spilling over the pot. Oh, it looks extremely happy. And as long as I can keep it out of the sun. I did have one on this side. I had to move it because it was starting to burn. It was getting too much. It was the lighter green version, and it just didn't seem to be that happy in that location. This one is a lot smaller because it's getting beat up by the sprinkler head there, I can tell. Man, the heuchera looks amazing. It's so much happier. Even if it says sun, here in zone 8A in Dallas, you're gonna have much better results if you have it in full shade. If it gets just a dabble of sun, okay, but I have one in the back that is in a little bit of sun, and it looks nothing like this. It is so burnt up, so ugly, so I need to dig it up. And in fact, I see a little bit of real estate back there. I'm gonna pop it back there. So I have, these are little hosta transplants that I did in the spring. They're not taken off yet. It may be next year or even the following year before they just really burst, into this new happy place and get larger. I had taken some out and split them up and put little pieces in different locations. So you can see there's a fern in there that I'm growing, and some other hostas as well. I need to deadhead some of the flower stalks that come off of those hostas. I like them. I leave them when they're in bloom. They're really pretty. My baskets are doing okay. I have to water every single day, sometimes twice a day. So I have to stay on top of that. It's been a struggle for the last couple of weeks. Actually, the last week has been the worst. And in fact, it is going to be triple digits again for the next probably 6 days or so. This is extremely abnormal weather. So here on this side, more mystic spires along with some white vinca that's bordering that little curve there. And I do have more seedlings in there that just never really came through that great. So probably will transplant them. And then just sitting there, hanging basket. This is another one of those sun patients. It's very pretty if you stay on top of it, but I had to put it there just so I can remember to water it. It's not very happy. I have a coleus that's in a pot along with a climbing rose. I think it is a blaze rose. Is one in the ground, and then there's one in the pot, and these are red blaze roses. I think it's actually called a blaze improved variety. And on this side, I planted maybe about 2 months ago a Don Juan, and the red Don Juan, this is my second one that I've owned. Last year, I think it was, in the first of the year, I planted one, and it made it to the top of the trellis in one season. So let's see how this one is going to do. It's in a different location, so I don't know. This is a planter that is kind of separating me from my neighbor. And let me go back because there are some changes on the way. So my idea is still coming together. Don't judge me yet. I'm killing off grass. I started spraying it about 3 days ago just to kill it. This is going to be another just little corner bed. So I'll have one bed there. All this is in front of my home. And then there will be that one there and then the other one on the other side. So there's a purple fountain grass on this side here. And then there will be one here with some other very drought tolerant plants. The reason I'm doing that is because even though I'm killing this off, it looked really bad anyway because it just doesn't get enough irrigation here. And it was getting no irrigation between me and my neighbor in this one little strip. So I started digging it out. And then I sprayed it down to kill the grass about 2 to 3 days ago, and I just let it sit all week. And I'm sure my neighbors are like, what is she doing now? And it's a utility area, so I have to be extremely careful not to shut down everyone's internet. It's not electrical power here, it's just the phone company and cable. So, I don't want to upset anyone. It's me either because I work from home. So what I'm doing, my plan is to plant succulents in this area, something that does not care if it gets watered or not. Just a little bit of water every now and again will be fine. And so the only thing that needs a little bit of water are these few little vincas that I'm putting around this cape. I just went blank. Oh my God, it'll come back to me. I'll stick it on the screen. I love the blue in this. It's so pretty. And so that I have to give a little water, but it's extremely drought tolerant as well. I've grown them in the ground as well as in pots before. So I'm not done. I literally just started this morning. It is about 100 degrees right now. At 7 a.m. it was 80 plus degrees, so I was able to work for a couple of hours. And I have some Rock and Grow by Proven Winners. It's called Black on Black, the variety. And it will put out these really pretty red flowers later on in the season and turn a little seasonal color. They're extremely hardy, cold hardy. So it should give me some winter interest. The only thing that's going to die back right here in this area will be behind the pot. Everything in the front should stay. I'm going to be adding more succulents, cold hardy succulents. So the idea is to have the spiller look of just succulents falling out of that. And then here I picked up some Lantana, which will be perennials, and they are, they can grow up to 2 feet wide as well as 2 feet tall maybe. This is a smart plant because it's drought tolerant. I don't have to worry about watering. That's the whole idea, trying to just be better about, my watering habits and things that can still stay pretty. So I'm going to be putting down landscape fabric in this area here because I'm going to have mulch on up to about right here, I believe. But there will also be some rocks that are spilling out of the pot that will be white rocks. And I hate white rocks, so I don't know why I'm doing this. I've already picked them up. I've always hated white rocks. It's just my thing. And so I'm going to make this work because I love blue and white. And what I mean by blue and white, like a chinoiserie color, print. I love blue and white. And so I am going to turn this some type of way into that. It will have that blue and white aesthetic, I hope. But these particular lantanas can cover up, honestly, most of this area. It will take time to do that, but that's okay. I'll be patient because I'm broke, and that's what you do. You wait. And I can't even remember what these are. Some other little succulents that I have. Hard to see with all that ugly dead grass underneath it. But I do have another smaller spiller pot here. That's not going to stay there. That's just sitting there for the moment with more succulents in there. I'm going to move that. But my idea is maybe to have that smaller pot sit out here, and it's going to spill something in this tiny little bed area. So it'll look like it's coming across the sidewalk over to here maybe. I can't figure out what to do yet. But okay, let's keep going because I want to talk about when I put up this gate and the gate closes. Typically I do keep it closed. So it looks like that, and it has a little lock on it too. But I'm going to open that back up because my thought, I had asked a while back, what do you guys think I should do in between the two houses? Because my neighbor said, hey, go for it, whatever you want to do. So my thought, eventually I will have maybe some stepping stones come up through here in this area. So if someone was coming over for a barbecue, they don't have to go in the house always. They can come straight through here and then walk all the way through here. Well, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out. But I do know this. I have a lot of soil in the back of my truck right now and a whole yard of compost. I'm getting ready to put cardboard down all the way to the end, which is about 40 feet, 42, I think. And then on this side, I will do the same exact thing. So the bed, right where the grass kind of comes out, stops. It'll be a little bit further. Let's see, for example, go past about here. I should have some spray paint to mark this off. But anyway, so it's going to be a bed that goes all the way down here. And just like the grass curves, that bed is going to curve as well. But I think I'm going to stop with the mulch right here. And so in this area only will be some type of stone. And then I am going to build a brick landing right there. All those bricks that I still have, they will be my borders that will go all the way down on each side. So we'll have brick borders here, and then grass in the middle is a pathway, and then brick borders will go here. On this wall, I have a very small 4 by 6, 7 foot tall greenhouse that I am installing. I am waiting on it to arrive next week. It will go on this wall here. On maybe each side of that, there are going to be some raised beds that are 6 feet by 3 feet and 24 inches tall. So I'm putting those in, and that is how far I've gotten so far. So what I'm doing today is laying cardboard from back there at that gate all the way down. I'm putting all of the, now if I actually owned the property on both sides, I wouldn't put my greenhouse up against the wall. I would do things totally different. But I have to think about, even though she says, yes, you can use this area. And I have to think about, well, what if she decides to move? What if she sells her house? She's been here for years, but she could decide to move. And so if that's the case, I want to make sure that I'm still on my property with anything that I build that I don't want to necessarily take down right away. And so I don't care about doing the landscape on this side, but the big things such as my veggie garden beds, raised beds, and my greenhouse are going to go all up against the wall. And I think I'll put a window box on that window, and maybe some shrubs and some pretty stuff as well. So that's what's in my head. That's what's happening for now. I'm so thirsty. I laid this down. Oh my God, the water's still a little cool. And so that's what's going on in the front, guys. I just wanted to do a real quick update and check in with you guys. It's hot. I'm the only idiot that's outside. Yep, I said it. I moved my truck because I'm getting ready to unload all that soil, but I'm not going to do it now. I'm going to wait till this evening. It will still be hot. It is probably going to be 100 degrees even at 7 or 8 p.m. But in the front, I feel a lot more cooler. I wear long sleeve shirts. I like the dry fit kind. So that way, if I am sweating, it just holds the moisture in. I'm giving you the best tip ever because it really does keep you cool. And man, a good breeze just came through, so I'm happy. Let me know what you think about the side plan, or if you have any other suggestions. I am still open. I have one more I'm not going to tell just yet what theme, because there is a theme that's going to be to this. But, I don't have to stick with it. You got a better idea? Let me know. Thank you, guys. Have a great one.